Daytona's Morning News continues on WNDB.
Now it's time to sign up for the Affordable Care Act and or to get health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. And to talk to us about why the Affordable Care Act is not so affordable, we have health insurance expert and also who runs a company called Benefit Resource Group with Fox analyst Danny O'Connell. Danny, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
So how, I guess a lot of people, I've heard all kinds of rates, what the insurance companies were wanting, that some of them were double digits. It doesn't appear they're that high, but they certainly are higher than they've been, correct?
Correct.
So where do we go from here? Why is that the case?
Yes, so there's a number of reasons why. One, it's all really based now on how the pool that you're insured in runs and the state. It's all based on this community rating. So you don't get a discount anymore, if you want to call it that, for being healthy. You're actually penalized. You're paying more if you're healthy. So you have to see how that pool runs, and if you're in a pool that's not running well, guess what? You can't really go over and move into another pool because they're all rated the same. So if one carrier has a bunch of losses, you're going to see an increase over there. Well, the next year, a lot of those losses are going to move to another carrier and on to another carrier. So that's one thing. The second issue is you've got people who are eligible for subsidies. And in 2014, the first full year that we have data for, half of those people who actually were eligible for subsidies owed money back. So then the next question is, well, is my subsidy going to keep up with the inflating cost of my health care? So that's another unknown. And then finally, it's kind of the hidden increases. The fact that I can't go see the provider that I want to go see. The fact that my out-of-pocket inches up a little bit every year.
And wasn't this based on the fact that they're forced people to get insurance as almost as law as to the IRS, and that you're talking about pools, and we need pools to include healthy people, which tends to be younger people, and so my guess is not enough younger people are signing up to get this pool to where it's more affordable. Well,
certainly, and you look under the old system, and an average 20-year-old, 25-year-old, could go out and get something for $150 a month. $200 a month, depending on their needs. Now that cost has easily gone up by 50 to 100%. I mean, in many cases, it's doubled or more.
Well, now, is this for people who don't have health insurance, of course, through their employers? Or are those all of the policies are you talking about are going up?
So all of the policies are going up, but from an employer standpoint, it really depends. Are we grandfathered? Are we transitional? Are we a 2 to 50 or 2 to 100 company? Are we partially self-funded? So employers actually have more options. The big benefit to go with the employers, my employer pays part of the premium. You typically have a better network, and a lot of times the premiums that you pay can be tax deductible.
Right. So in situations where people are looking for health insurance now, though, I think one of the benefits or one of the selling points of the Affordable Care Act was that competition would be increased, which could potentially reduce premium. Are people able to shop around among many different insurers? Is there 2 or 3 in each state, or are some states better than others, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. You've actually seen a collapsing of carriers in each market. More and more companies are getting out of it because they're saying this is unsustainable. We can't work within this framework. So more companies fewer companies are having to pick up larger losses each year. And based on the fact that everybody has to play the exact same way, the only difference that we can have control over if we're an insurance company is really our network. So we're going to strip down our network to try to save money, and that's really the only way that they can find any type of savings on those individual policies.
Now, is this across the board with these increases? I know that Tennessee approved a 36% rate increase for their largest health insurer in the individual marketplace, but are there some states that have actually reduced the costs?
It is. In Indiana and Mississippi, you see some decreases. Mississippi, I think, was down about 12%. Again, this is on average. Indiana was down about 8%. Oklahoma was up over 30%. So it is going to vary by state, by carrier, by type of plan. And the hard part, though, is if you have these 30% increases, it makes it harder to motivate and get younger, healthier people on the plan, which means the demographics are going to continue to change. Smaller groups, more claims, higher premiums down the road.
Well, do you think that this information will help in the future more people be more apt to maybe support a single-payer system or what they call in Medicare for all?
It's really hard to tell because you have people that were all in favor of this, and really the American public really didn't know. We didn't know what was being passed. So the people that were really for it, they may be apt really to go to a single-payer system. And you've got the other people that are against it. They're going to use this as the argument of why we need to make wholesale changes and not go that direction.
Right. You know, I was just looking up a couple articles online about the different states, and I don't know if this is true or not, but one is saying that consumers in the online marketplace can choose from 17 different insurers in Ohio and Texas, and 16 in Wisconsin, 15 in Michigan, 10 in our state of Florida. So that seems like a little bit more competition there.
Well, what you're actually seeing is more hospital-specific plans come out that didn't used to exist. So you may have a specific hospital system now has their own plan. But when you look at the number of actual insurance carriers, that has gone down.
Right. Talking with Danny O'Connell, a health insurance expert. Danny, so bottom line is, are people better off than they were before Obamacare, or are we worse off?
I would say overall you're worse off. There are some people who have certainly benefited, no doubt, but the overwhelming majority paying more, fewer, access to fewer providers and fewer choices.
And as far as healthcare providers, as far as doctors and these insurance plans, I mean, is this affecting them? And one of the concerns we have is having enough healthcare providers, doctors, nurses, professionals within there, because sometimes the money's not there.
Well, it's that, and there's also more. When this was originally written, it's included in there that a health insurance company, if somebody buys an individual policy, a health insurance company has to verify benefits for 90 days whether they pay their insurance premiums or not. So the AMA, American Medical Association, got this out to doctors and said, hey, look, you could be treating people, verifying benefits for them, and they don't even have coverage. They've never paid a dime of their premium. And that did happen. And so you see a lot of providers saying, you know what, I'm not going to mess with this. I'm going to charge you a flat fee for service, or, we're just not going to take these individual policies at all.
Last question for you. One of the big things was pre-existing conditions. I happen to be somebody who has that, and it was an issue for me. I think a lot of people felt that. But how has that changed the pool? Has that been a good thing, bad thing? What's your take on it?
Well, it's obviously good for individuals that have those conditions. From a rate standpoint, it's going to mean increases. And each state, for most states anyway, most of them had an uninsurable risk pool. The state of Texas had one, the state of Oklahoma. It's just people being aware and educated about what those options were previously.
From the Benefit Resource Group and health insurance expert, Danny O'Connell, thanks so much for your guest on WNDB.
Thank you.